Right, Max Verstappen, masterclass, really, I suppose. What a weekend he had from the get-go, qualifying at the top of the grid, and did not blink, did not need a second invitation to go all the way through. One of the least entertaining, probably the best way of describing that, Japanese Grand Prix we've seen in a long time. A Grand Prix where red flags are usually quite common and often quite early as well. We did not see a single red flag. The rain probably contributing towards that. There was no fire in the at the track on the grass and the likes of that. But yeah, I think the big thing for me is bringing the new regulation as soon as possible, because we can't have races like that consistently. The top six remaining absolutely identical, and the McLarens didn't really ever make a move to try and catch Max Verstappen. Could have maybe tried to split up the pit stops, for example, to try and find an opportunity, a potential undercut and the likes of that. But yeah, a bit of a frustrating one in terms of not too many people willing to try and risk something. A really good day for Kimi Antonelli, who led the race for the first time in his career. Also had a couple of fastest laps at the stage. So at one stage, actually looking like he could have potentially caught George Russell, and was at one stage actually the faster of the two Mercedes drivers. So positive for that. But a big problem for Red Bull is Yuki Tsunoda out of the points from 14 to 12th. Probably the worst driver of the day decision I think I've ever seen. I mean, gained 2 positions, didn't get anywhere near the points, and yeah, you know, once again, the Red Bull have now made the big change, still haven't scored any points. So Max Verstappen continues to basically be the only Red Bull scoring points, because all the championship points they currently have came courtesy of Max. And today, I think we once again saw the Max a bit of old, I suppose. You know, it just flawless, really, no mistakes made, just got on with it, led from the front all the way through. And if there's any doubts about his commitment to the team, for example, his form, I think he's very quickly put them to bed. McLaren, well, Oscar Piastri almost sort of had a bit of a go at Lando Norris towards the end. He was definitely the faster of the two, but couldn't really get there in time to make a big of a difference. Ferrari's kind of a bit of a non-feature, you know, 4th for Leclerc, 7th for Hamilton. Didn't really manage to sort of threaten. I mean, Hamilton, I remember I was on the team radio asking where he was slow, and they basically had about 5 or 6 corners, so he just didn't have the pace. The Ferraris generally at the moment, you just feel, don't have a particularly competitive car, and I don't really know how they kind of sort of solve that. It's difficult being Hamilton. I think he was promised a much better car than they currently have, and just not able to get anything out of it. The only sort of, I think, somebody who had quite a good day was Jack Doohan, actually, who, after a very tough weekend, managed to pick up 5 places today. So, and he finished just behind Gasly. So that was a good day for him. And I think that he needed something like that, where he could get ahead of a few people and try and make a bit of a point. But Alpine continuously disappointing. Shout out to Ollie Behrman, finishing 10th in the points, and he's had a really good weekend. Had a really good qualifier yesterday, and showing that Haas, there is a bit of pace in there, but what pace there is, he's extracting every little bit. So big shout out to Ollie Behrman, who's coming through quite nicely. Kimi Antonelli's starting to look really comfortable as well. So some of the rookies, I think, are starting to settle in, which is kind of expected. And that's kind of, I think, why people were saying Liam Lawson was axed far too early, because, you know, he would have needed a couple of races to sort of settle into the season and to start feeling a bit more comfortable in that Red Bull car. Yuki Tsunoda, you know, goes into that car and doesn't do much better. You know, 12th, you know, so it is a bit better than what we've seen from Lawson, but it's still outside the points. And we kind of hoped a more experienced driver in that Red Bull would be able to extract more pace and a bit more consistency. Not really the case. So from a World Championship point of view, McLaren, they'll be quite happy with a 2-3. A lot of points for them. And yeah, from a Ferrari point of view, I continue to be very disappointed. Ferrari fans, we're just not really competing. We're kind of there and thereabouts. You know, we're consistently scoring a few points, but yeah, just not really enough. But what are your thoughts on the Grand Prix? A pretty forgettable one. We'll kind of break it down a little bit more during the week, and hopefully we'll see a bit of a better one in Bahrain, because yeah, all 20 cars started on the grid, all 20 cars finished, and top 6 completely the same. Not ideal, and not really what we want to see as Formula 1 fans, but it is what we got. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you guys all very soon.